This is an 1984 CR80 that I bought for $80, and I fixed it up for my boys. I was making this video because as I began to work on this thing, I realized pretty quickly that there's not a lot of parts for 84 CR80s. So I thought I'd go ahead and make the video and just give you guys some ideas of things that I did. First of all, if you find an 84 CR80, run away from it. Don't get one, because one thing I found out pretty quickly was the crankshafts and connecting rods are almost impossible to find. And I scoured and scoured and scoured, and I got the crankshaft put together for mine with the connecting rod, which the connecting rod was the hardest part for me to get a hold of. But I did track one down eventually, and a lot of phone calls, a lot of searching. This one seems to work just fine, and after I found that, that was probably the hardest piece to get. There's no graphics that I could find anywhere for this year bike, so I made my own. I just bought some black backgrounds and put on there, just cut them out, and just kind of had to piece them all together as best I could. This motorcycle here, all the plastic was spray painted. Somebody decided to do a custom job on their own, and it was covered in black spray paint and red spray paint and orange spray paint. And I used this right here. It's a clean stripper. Now it says on the instructions that it will eat plastic. However, I used it for this bike all over it, and I just put it on there and cleaned it off real quickly. So that would be a buyer beware or user beware, but it seemed to work out fine for this project. I took the forks part, replaced all the seals in the whole entire bike. I redid all the numbers, all the graphics. This seat, there was no gripper seat available for it, so I took it down to an upholsterer and told them what I was interested in, and they went ahead, and this is what they came up with. Did a really good job, I think. They double stitched all the seams for me. This is the least grip stuff they had. I don't know exactly what it's called. I know that the yellow backgrounds don't go on an 80, but I like yellow, so I went with that. I like the old 500s. I painted the frame black. The frame was already spray painted black, so I just went ahead and went with that. I painted the frame, the subframe, silver to kind of look like it was aluminum. I did my own graphics on the swing arm. All it is just black background cut out into a rectangle, and then Michelin stickers put on there. These right here, those are foot pegs off of a YZ426, and they fit very well. All I had to do to make those fit was I had to cut a little bit off of here, and these are the springs off of a 426 also. I didn't have enough money for gold anodized bolts, so I just took all the bolts out of here. I dipped them all in mineral spirits, cleaned them all off real good, primed them, and spray painted them all, so from 10 feet away it looks pretty good. This gas cap is a Tusk gas cap. It's off of a 2006 KXF 250. What I did, and if you're trying to fix an old bike like this, one thing I found is I think it's Dennis Kirk. They have a fitment. They call a fitment part. You click on the part you're interested in, and it'll tell what other years that part will fit. And they happen to have a gas cap that was anodized, but I didn't like it. It wasn't blue, and it said what years it would fit. And so I found a gas cap for a 2000. It would fit a gas cap on a 2006. So then I went to Tusk and looked around until I found a blue one, and it screwed right on there. Works perfect. I bought a aluminum silencer for this bike, but I couldn't make it fit because it wouldn't fit between the rear of the tire and up here. I probably could have got it eventually, but I didn't feel like making my boys wait any longer. It's been close to 2 years I've been working on this. I took the aluminum stinger part, cut that off, and I had that put on there. It quiets it down a little bit with a little downturn. Because this fender on an 84 has these little dips right here, it's pretty hard to find a graphic kit that just fits right on there. So I did the same thing on this. I just cut out a black background, and I had to use miniature stickers on here to make it all fit on there. It still looks all right. I went to C4. I can't remember what the name of the company is that makes silicone hoses, and I saw hose kits that were running anywhere from $80 to somewhere over $100 for the kit. And this bike, again, doesn't have anything like that. So what I did was I went to, can't remember who I went to. I'll say it if I think of it. But I ordered this hose bulk. It was I think $1.68 a foot. It wasn't very much. It was real cheap. So I ordered several feet of it and made my own silicone hoses. This rear suspension, the 84 rear shock was all messed up, so I got an 85 rear shock, and I used all the 85 linkage. It's all the aluminum linkage with the needle bearings instead of the bushings, and that all worked pretty well. The only thing I had to do was I had to do a little bit of grinding here to make this fit into here, and it was just a quarter inch taller than what the other shock was, but I think I'll be all right with that. All we're going to be doing is racing in cornfields anyway, so it's not the hugest deal. The reservoir, I put this on here, and I put my HRC sticker on there, and all I did is cut that here and here to make it all fit and kind of blend in over the clamps. And then I just took a razor blade and sliced through the little spots here to kind of, so you can tell it's a hose clamp. Here's some cheap bling. I went down to the Walmart, and these are just blue anodized valve stem covers that I pressed on to the end of the hose clamps. Just kind of makes it look kind of slick. I put the blue anodized caps on the back here, and they make a for your rim lock, they make an anodized cap for that, but it's kind of pricey, so I just used a valve stem cover. It fit right on there, so I got a red one for my locks and blue ones for my valve stems. If you look around, you can still find a Pro Circuit. Pro Circuit makes a pipe for this bike, an 84, and you have to get rid of, in order to use one, you have to get rid of the attack valve in the front of it, and so I did get rid of that. I'm going to use a flashlight here, and all I had to do was I had to make an aluminum bracket coming off the, there it is. I had to make an aluminum bracket coming off the head up there, and all I did was just drill a hole, bend a piece of aluminum, drill a hole here, and run my spring across there to hold the pipe on. And I like Whirlpool throttles, and I found this one here relatively inexpensive. I cannot remember where I got it at, but when I got it, my Motion Pro cables here were just a little bit too big for this housing, so I had to drill the housing out here, retap it, and then I took some this was my daughter had some aluminum anodized wire. I wrapped it around that, and I put 5-minute epoxy all the way around that to kind of give it a little more build up here. And the throttle was stuck a little bit open with this whole setup here. I had to do a lot of improvising to make this work. So right underneath this cap here, there was a little tiny block, and I just had to cut that little piece off to make the throttle shut all the way. I did a lot of ordering online from eBay, a lot of used parts. This I couldn't find an 84 CR80 rear chain guide that I liked. Most of them were used and tore up. This one here, this is off of a 2003 CR2 or CR125, and these parts are very available. So I went ahead and got this. The only thing I had to do on this was I had to cut the front off of here, right there, and then I had to cut this little notch right here to make it fit, and it fit on there perfect. I ordered a new block here because the old one was all chewed up from a 125, so I ordered that, slid that right on there. That worked perfect. And what else have I done here? The rest of the stuff I just kind of cosmetics. The bars, they're Renthal bars, but they're used. All I do is kind of polish them up a little bit. Oh, the forks were sagging when I got them. I took the caps off here, and I took, they were a little steel 2-inch spacer that I used there, and I took that and I cut an inch, or I cut a half inch off of it, so I made it 1.5 inches. A lot of these things that I had to do, like with the foot pegs and stuff, if you don't have access to an air compressor like I didn't have, I used a rotozip, and between a rotozip and a side angle grinder, I was able to get a lot of this stuff done. But this is a rotozip with just a little conversion kit there. Oops, not very good there. And you can put a cutoff wheel on there, and that helped me get a lot of this stuff taken care of on here. But everything on here, the bike was pretty decent. The bike was in terrible shape when I got it, but the pieces were all there. So with a little bit of paint stripping, a little bit of my own graphics, a little bit of my own figuring things out and ordering and trying things, this is what my end product was. And like I say, if you have an 84, I would ride the wheels off of it until it died and then put it on eBay or something. But I wouldn't spend a whole lot of time trying to redo another 84. 85s on up, seems like parts are pretty available for those. But I do know that the crankshaft and the connecting rod are real hard to come by on these little things. And the other thing that was very hard to come by is this right here. This boot right here. This is actually off of a CR60, not a CR80. So I had to kind of jam the carburetor in there to fit. It was a little bit smaller here at the throat. But that was also a problem, trying to find this piece right here. But whatever, any port in a storm, I guess. But this is what I came up with, and I just thought I'd share it with everybody that might be looking for parts for a CR80.